You're listening to the Empty Nest Empires podcast, episode number 21. Hey, I had something really unusual happen to me this week, and that is that I woke up one morning with a phrase running through my head. Have you had that happen to you? I have not. And I've been pondering it ever since, and I think it's something we need to talk about today. Okay, your nest is empty, or it will be within a few years. So now what? Whether you know it or not, we are building empires. Empires of faith, family, fun, fitness, and of course, finance. And those empires are the legacy we leave for our loved ones. I'm Tammy Romani, an empty nester mom, grandma, and entrepreneur with a vision for ever greater things in the years ahead. It's never too late, and there is no limit to what we can do. I'm so happy you're here. Now let's get to building. So one morning this week, I opened my eyes, and this phrase was the first thing I heard. Your story may hold a key to unlock healing for someone else. How crazy is that? Now, I have woken up in the morning with a song in my head many times. You know, it's kind of like a blank slate when we wake up in the morning. That's why they say that you really should not pick up your phone right away. You should not engage in anything other than peace and calm for at least the first 15 minutes or so, because your brain really needs time to settle into the morning and begin to take on. You just don't need all the extra stimulation. So I don't remember what I dreamt that night. I don't usually remember my dreams lately. But this was clear as day, and it was almost like a voice in my head. Now, was it God speaking to me? I believe it probably was. It was a message to me. But was it for me? And that's why I'm bringing it to you today, because I really believe that this message might be something you need to hear. So when I say the words, your story may hold a key to unlock healing for someone else, does that stir something up in you? It did for me. My first question, of course, was, what story? Which story? Of the millions of stories I have, hello, God, can you give me a clue here? Like, what story? But you know, storytelling is something that seems to be coming back. We hear a lot about it on social media. Tell your story matters, and so on. This is not a new concept. I would not know the stories of my mother's childhood or our family history if I had not heard her say them over and over and over again. So my first point I want to say is tell your stories. Tell your family stories. I mean, we talk about building empires, building family empires. That is the way that ideas, and that is the way that concepts and triumphs and victories and just even failures. It's the way we learn. You know, I remember my mother telling stories about her early childhood and how one time, she was the tomboy of the family, and she was about 5 years old. Her daddy had told her, kids, do not climb on the tractor. And what did she do? She fell off that tractor and broke both of her wrists. Both of them at 5 years old. Now, my mom apparently was tough from minute one, because she proceeded to put her hands behind her back and try and hide the fact that she had broken both wrists. Until finally her mom noticed and said, Gladys, honey, what do you have behind your back? And she lifted up her arms, and both of her wrists were dangling. Well, of course, this was the mid-1920s. It was like 1924, 25. She had to have them splinted and couldn't do any of her rambunctious playtime for a while. Now, why do I tell you that story? It's one of the stories that gave me a clue as to where my mom's grit came from. And I look back on that all the time. So stories of your childhood, stories of your parents' childhood, generational stories that you've heard. This is a concept that the Native Americans have always done. Every people group in the world has generational stories, legacy stories. There's a scripture in Revelation 12:11 that says, "They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony." When you declare your story, whether it's a story of healing, whether it's a story of your own failure and lessons learned, whether it's a story of victory or triumph, you know what you're doing for someone else when you tell that story? You're unlocking hope and healing for them. Because I'll tell you, when we are in the middle of our deepest and darkest times, we often don't see past our own noses. Am I right? But bringing yourself into that darkness for them with a story of hope, in turn, will give them something to look forward to, something to look at like, okay, if God could do that for them, He could do it for me. These days, I am so encouraged by stories of people in my industry really making it. You know, I have this one online mentor, and she's half my age, but I do consider her a mentor because she has such brilliant experience in the corporate world that she now teaches people in the entrepreneur world how to follow. And I have watched her go in the last 4 years from doing live broadcasts from her bathtub because it was the only place she could get a plain background in her little house, to having a multi-million-dollar business, and now very soon a TV show in the works. That all of this came to her. All of this came to her. But she tells a story of poverty, coming out of poverty. She tells a story of her husband being sick and her realizing there's got to be something I can do. She tells a story of how God created a family for her when she didn't have one. And it's all so encouraging to so many people. And it really lets me see, hey, if God can do it for her, He can do it for me too. And that is what I'm talking about here. So what I'm not talking about, though, is airing your dirty laundry. You know, the world does not need to know your entire story, your entire life history. Whatever you want to keep private is certainly your right to keep private. But I guarantee you that we all have thousands of stories. And maybe it will take some time for you to unlock those. But I encourage you to take a look at what stories you might be able to tell. One of the ones I like to tell lately is right now I am sitting inside a padded room in my basement. It is my voiceover studio. Now, for decades, I have been a paid voiceover talent. So meaning I use my voice, I lend my voice to brands, to businesses, I set up their automated telephone systems, I do their messages on hold, I do corporate trainings, videos, I do medical narration, and the very occasional, maybe local commercial. Haven't struck the, national commercial gold yet, but perhaps I will someday. My point is, I've been sitting in here reading other people's words for a really long time. And when it came time for me to realize that I maybe had a gift that I could teach others how to have a confident voice, I was scared. I was really scared. I was, give me a script, I can read that. But you want me to now tell my story? of all the process I've been through to be a confident speaker, yeah, I don't know. And I'm also supposed to turn my phone on myself or go live on Facebook or Instagram or back in the day, Periscope. I don't know. And then I saw other people doing it. And then people started coming to me saying, hey, you're a professional voice. I know that I want to start a podcast, but I really don't like my voice. Okay, so this podcast is now becoming a little bit of a commercial here because now I do help people with that. And so I want to encourage you, though, that your voice is just fine. You just need some confidence behind it. So if you are one of those people who has a story to tell and you know it, I'll tell you, when I woke up with those words, your story may hold a key to unlock healing for someone else, I really had to dig into my own persona and say, well, my story's kind of boring, actually. How is that going to unlock healing? But as I started to just write in a journal a list of all of my potential stories that I could be telling, and yes, on social media, because that is where I am these days, I started realizing, you know what? I did that because I heard someone's story and it gave me hope and it gave me ideas. So we are not supposed to live life in a void. We are not supposed to live life isolated. We are supposed to tell our stories. But for you may not be a digital marketer. You may not have a business where you want to reach out to people on Facebook or Instagram. But maybe you need to start telling your story to your children. Maybe you need to tell your story to your grandchild. Maybe you need to sit them on your knee and just say, let me tell you a fun song that my mom taught me when I was your age. And keep that family legacy, that empire. You're building empires in your family, remember? The way to do that is to tell stories. Maybe you're in a small group. On Friday mornings, I meet with a small group of women from my church. We call it a life group. It's literally, on any given day from 4 to about 10 or 12 women. And we talk about our stories. And we encourage each other. And we pray for each other. And I need to be there and hear their stories. I do. And I need to be there to tell my stories. And that is what I'm telling you. Maybe your audience isn't 10,000 people on Instagram. Maybe your audience is 5 women, 5 men. Maybe your audience is 100 people. All I'm saying is this is something I want you to think about, and I want to hear from you on that. Would you DM me? I am at Tammy Romani, TamiRomani. You can also get me on Instagram at Empty Nest Empires, specific to this podcast. I really want to hear, what is your story that you have decided it's time to start telling? And like I said, don't tell anything you don't want the world to know about. And don't make it long and involved. People don't need to know everything. See what you can do about grasping the concept and telling bits of your story, because that's where you'll make a difference for people. All right. I feel better talking about this. I hope that this has been helpful for you today, and I do want to hear from you. Okay? What's your story? How are you going to commit to telling it? And have you had any feedback? Have you had an incident where your story began to unlock healing for someone else? I mean, could there be anything greater than that? I don't think so. I really don't. All right. This has been so good today. I'm just filled up. I am going to continue to ponder this phrase. Your story may hold a key to unlock healing for someone else. And here on this podcast, we're going to continue to tell stories of others. Whenever I interview someone, it's because I heard their story and it unlocked hope for me. And so that's why I share them with you here. So thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope that this has been helpful to you and that you will go tell your story today. All right, I'll talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye. Hold on. Don't hang up the phone just yet. You may be one who has a story to tell, but you are holding yourself back. You have put up this invisible roadblock, and it looks like this. I know I should go live on social media, but I don't like my voice. I really have something I want to say in a podcast, but I think people won't like my voice. Now, let me just tell you right now, your voice is fine. Maybe you just need some confidence in your speaking voice. Maybe you have a couple of little habits that you can fix so easily with the right instruction. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about. It's been almost a year since I've done this, but I'm about to open the doors to a confident voice. Now, what a confident voice is, a month of coaching with me personally in a group setting where we go through step by step how to have a confident speaking voice, because I really want to move you from that roadblock. You're using your voice as a roadblock. And you're telling yourself, I can't do these things because I don't like my voice. But you know what? Your voice, in reality, is a gateway. It's a gateway to bringing hope and healing to others. It's a gateway to telling your story with the confidence that you need to have. Go to aconfidentvoice.com right now and if it's not open right now when you're hearing this, you will see a form to get on the waiting list. It's open for just a few days this month. Get on that and let's work together. Go to aconfidentvoice.com and I will see you in our private group where you have a safe place to practice and you'll get input from me and others. Let's get you moving forward. You've got a story, and it's an important one, and I want to see you and hear you tell that story with a confident voice. aconfidentvoice.com.